started. So we start with the training. How do you get to the point of where you're in your enterprise and the rest of the members of the contractor company or facility respect your skills and seek you out, seek out your services, your advice, your assistance? How do we go there? Um, there are many different things to do. And what I'm going to show you is how to get security into the DNA of the rest of the company. And so we'll start with the topic of training. What skills do you have to offer? That's the first consideration when you want to train the rest of your company on how to apply the security processes that you're putting in place. You want to go over your skills. What are you good at? How can you interact with the other people? What can you teach to the human resources or the business development or the contracts personnel? How can you fit your skills into their scope? So one is integrating security, one is education, training and awareness, SETA. That's the acronym we'll use, SETA. So you've got the NISPOM, you've got government regulations that you're very familiar with. Other people in your company may not be familiar, even though it applies to them. And again, what you want to do is create an environment where they are learning and they find this information just as important as you do. So let's look at celebrating success. First of all, start within your organization and start spreading the successes that your security department or you as a security individual are having. Did you get a good rating on the last review by the Defense Counterintelligence and Security Rating? Did you get a commendable? Did you get a kudos? Did your organization get recognized by somebody else for the enhanced security or the good security measures that you put in place? When you do that, put it out in your company newsletter. If something good happens, put it out in a press release. One of the things that you can do and can brag about is if your security personnel or you yourself earn one of the many available security certifications. In the Department of Defense, they have a security certification called the Security Fundamentals Professional Security Certification, better known as SFPC. There's an Industrial Security Oversight Certification, ISOC or ISOC. And then there's a SAPPC. And then another professional organization has something called the Industrial Security Professional. Security practitioners are encouraged to take these certifications. If you go to my website or the show notes, I'll put links to certifications and some study material that you can use to train yourselves or your teams. But if somebody gets security certified, make sure that ends up on statement of works, capability statements, mission statements. Insert language such as the FSO is board certified to protect classified information, which is true. If they have this security certification, they can do that. Let's look at overcoming obstacles. What kind of obstacles should we be trying to overcome? There are a lot of obstacles in the Olympics and in sports events, such as competitors are doping, or there's things that hurt your reputation as an athlete that they have to overcome. Maybe there's fear of performance or injury. Athletes have to overcome obstacles. Well, there are obstacles that you who work in security definitely need to overcome. And some of it is self-inflicted. Some of these obstacles are basically part of our culture. When you think of security, or when the average person thinks of security, what are they thinking about? They're probably thinking of a wall or an obstacle themselves that they have to overcome so that they can get their job done. They're used to security being in the way, locking up doors, putting up barriers, making it hard for the practitioners to get their work done, the engineers, the program managers. But you don't want to be a showstopper. You want to allow them to do what they do to bring money into the company and to please their customers. Don't want to jam them up with rules, regulations, or policies that make their job more difficult. One is, self-inflicted obstacle is lack of vision. The Dr. No syndrome. Hey, I would like to. Nope. And every time somebody asks security for an opportunity, and even though the answer could be yes, this security practitioner always says no. Phrase your question, because I'm always going to say no. Lack of initiative. Hey, I need help developing this TACP, or I need help developing this policy for my engineers to be able to do their jobs a little bit better and secure our information. And they'll say, no, not my lane. Or institutional perceptions, lack of understanding. Security automatically interrupts cost, schedule, and performance. Or security is not that effective. Hey, the only thing I want out of you guys is to process my security clearance or get my visit authorization request. But there's a lack of understanding that security personnel, at least facility security officers, can expand the capabilities of the company. And some of these, we call them an obstacle. The way to overcome the obstacle is that the facility security officer demonstrates value to the company. For example, if you plan early enough, you can prepare for costs of the security program to protect information on a contract. If you don't plan early enough, that cost comes out of overhead. If you plan early enough, that cost can be wrapped up into the contractual response, so that the company does not get jammed up by paying a lot of money for security procedures they're not prepared for just yet. So how do you overcome these obstacles? Well, the only thing that you cannot train is people's initiative. I travel to many defense contractors working on cutting edge research and development efforts. I go and help people overcome some of these security obstacles. That's part of my job. But how does an FSO who may not know much about the technical work being done influence that technical work that's being done well enough so that it's being protected? Well, they can form, I have IPTs here, integrated product teams, but you can call them working groups. Form a working group. All you do is facilitate it. You talk to them about what they're trying to develop, what needs to be protected, and document that process. Some other things is you want to make priorities. The priority should be the mission and providing a good product to the customer. However, the difference is the amount of effort they can afford to spend on protection. Effort meaning resources and costs. So put a good balance in there. Delegate responsibilities. The FSO does not have to perform every single function. Administrative functions can be delegated to somebody who can do administrative functions. The only thing that can't be delegated is that FSO's authority. So tasks can be delegated, authority cannot. So when you make policies within the company that enforce security measures, they should align with the enterprise and complement other roles. They should be easy to implement. The easier, the better. In fact, the easier, the more likely it is to be implemented.